Hi, this is Catherine. This is Taking Tea with Catherine. This is Simpson and Vale's Beatrix Potter Organic Herbal Tisane Blend. Ah, it's a mouthful. It just has a blend of herbs and rooibos, green rooibos specifically, so very, very spring-like, I suppose. It's a little hot right now, so it takes me a little time before I can drink it. So this is just one of the TBRs that I'm going to do for the month of May. I decided to participate in 2 reading challenges for readathons, etc. for the month of May. One is the one that Katie at Books and Things is hosting about, I think it's books written between 1900 and 1950. I'm not specifically sure if that's the exact time, but I'm getting my books together for that. So stay tuned. But today I'm doing the TBR for the Springathon of 2021. Now, I participated in Springathon last year, and it was such a great time to do so. At that point, lockdown had in New York and probably in a lot of other places had been going on for well over a month. I had spent weeks at a time barely leaving my block where I live and sometimes not leaving my house for days, and just feeling very out of touch with nature and everything. And even one day I decided to take a walk to a park, which is a bit of a walk for me. It's like, I don't know if it's a half an hour walk or so, but it's a lovely walk. And I made it halfway and realized I had to turn back because I couldn't. I had no energy. I was out of it. So I was really in trouble. And reading books about nature, nature writing in general, really helped me, I think. And, and distracted me in some ways too. And made me realize that we all need nature in our lives. I mean, I had cats. I have cats. And also there was an Instagram challenge, which there will be this year as well, in which for the days of the Springathon, you have a different prompt of a image that you post, I guess, of books or whatever, different subjects, and that was fun too. It was a great activity to take part in, being indoors, but with a bunch of books. So I'm very happy to do this again. This is in the beginning of May. It takes place from the 1st to the 14th of May, and the goal is to read one nonfiction nature writing book, which doesn't mean you can't read fictional books that take place around nature, but that's just the one requirement, and you are set. I, of course, have here 2, 4, 6 books. I don't think I'll reach all of them because I also have other books I need to read in May, but I'm going to try my best to read a good portion of them, or at least to start all of them if possible. And maybe I'll read other ones because there's so many other nature writing books that I have in my collection that I need to get to, that I want to get to. It's just getting the time to do so. So we'll see what I can do for May. The hosts this time around are, once again, Emma at A Cup of Books, and also Natalie at A Curious Reader, and also Doris at All D Books, and Heidi at My Reading Life. I think they are in there is a Book Naturalists, like a reading group, nature writing, which I need to pay more attention to because I should make nature writing part of my yearly reading. Like, I read biographies all year long, and I read mysteries all year long. I should have that as well. I do read some, but not enough, as I can tell just looking at the books that I've been planning to read and not getting to. Also, Juliana at Blank Garden, which is an Instagram handle. That's just Instagram, but that's still great. So if you find Blank Garden on Instagram, you can also see some fine things there. There's a group book, which I took out of the library, and that is The Way Through the Woods on Mushrooms and Mourning by Litt, Woon. And, oh, that's fun. Well, I don't think the book in itself is entirely fun. It's about someone who deals with grief by foraging, I think, for like mushrooms and stuff. That, though, sounds interesting. I don't always love reading about grief, but sometimes. And I know I need to get to H's for Hawk one of these years, because I know that kind of also is that subject. So look, from idyllic Norwegian forests and urban flower beds to the sandy beaches of Corsica. Corsica? Isn't that where Napoleon Bonaparte was from? Was maybe? Okay, I still have to read that, but that's another day. And New York Central Park. See, that is interesting to me because I live near Central Park, not right next to Central Park, but a quick subway ride away from Central Park. And she actually does some kind of foraging there. I've heard of such things, but anyway, so that could be really cool. So that's the group read. I really do intend to read that. The other semi-group reads, like the Book Naturalist book, is also kind of related to like mushrooms and stuff. I found this in a story bookshop. They finally opened the doors, sort of. They had independent bookshop day, bookstore day, whatever you want to call it, on the 24th of April, and Astoria Bookshop is my neighborhood bookshop. It's not a very far walk from where I live, but just like a nice enough walk that you feel like you've done a little bit of walking and now you can look for books, and there's a nice cafe nearby. Haven't been back, but anyway, I've been passing by there kind of sadly for the past year or so, and you know, there's just no foot traffic. You could order things and have it, you know, curbside, whatever, but they've just been very careful, and I don't blame them, but I missed them. So on Saturday, they had a thing where they had sidewalk access to some little items. I bought a candle, and then when you asked for something, they would let you go in so you could pay for it, and then you could have a very quick look around in the beginning of the shop. So I couldn't go to like my history section or whatever, or any nature writing sections. But I saw this book and I said, this was mentioned, and this is the other read, and it's Entangled Life: How Fungi Make Our Worlds, Change Our Minds, and Shape Our Futures by Merlin Sheldrake, which is such a great name, right? So yeah, I am very much looking forward to reading this as well. I think it seems like we're sticking to one subject here, but I will move off a little bit. And it has a blurb by Helen MacDonald from H's Rock, so that's probably a good thing. It smells good. Oh, I missed the smell of that bookshop too. When I walked in there, even though I had my mask on, I was just like... Anyway, let's go on to my TBR. So, let's see. Now we could talk about, there are prompts, like pairing prompts. You can, I guess, mix and match these words to make them fit the books you choose. I have learned kind of the hard way that if I stick too closely to trying to, you must read these books for these prompts, I end up rebelling and not reading all of them or barely getting through them. So I've decided to just loosely find matchups to the other 4 books that I have here. And if I add more nature writing in the future to this pile, maybe we'll find other ways to mix the prompts. We'll see. So Migration Home. Let's see. This is a book I've shown you guys a couple of times that I've been trying to get to, and now I really want to read already. And this is The Seabird's Cry, The Lives and Loves of Puffins, Gannets, and Do You Mind? And Other Ocean Voyagers by Adam Nicholson. So that's pretty cool. So that works with migration. I think there's a bit of migration discussed in here, and I just love the feel of this book. So I'm really looking forward to finally digging into it. Bloom Decay. Don't know if this works, but no, I don't know about Decay. Don't want to really think about that right now. I will find a way to fit that probably anyway. But when I thought of Bloom, I just thought, okay, which is one of the books that I have that has like trees and blooms in the front of it, and I thought I'd try this one. Sarah Ivins' Forest Therapy: Seasonal Ways to Embrace Nature for a Happier You. Sounds a little bit self-help-ish, which I'm only somewhat, I'm not really that big into self-help, but I figure I'd give this one a shot. It's such a beautiful looking book, and so that kind of fits in. I think they might have that whole forest bathing and stuff in here, and I think it's not just spring, it's all year long, but I shall try it. Let's see, Forage, Hibernate, Forage! And Hibernate, I'm sure we'll find something in here that has hibernation. Oh, didn't go back to, Migration Home. When I think of home, I think of what kind of nature do I have the most of at home, and I'm not going to say plants because I'm terrible with them. I know, it's a shame. It's a shame. I had a grandmother who had the best green thumb in history, and of course I didn't inherit that. I don't know what I inherited from her, to be honest, but anyway. I thought the thing I have the most at home is cats. The things that I have the most at home, the animals that I have at home, the nature. So I don't read a lot of cat books, although I definitely read some. But, sometimes it's a little sad, whatever. But I kind of thought this might be a good time to read this one. This is Homer's Odyssey by Gwen Cooper. I found it for $1 at Book Off like a year or so ago. And, my cat Janie just came over there. She's like, hey, you're talking about cats without me. I read another book about by Gwen Cooper, a more recent one, something like a life living in a cat house or something like that. But this is A Fearless Feline Tale, or How I Learned About Love and Life with a Blind Wonder Cat. Hence the name Homer, I suppose. And I'm sure it's going to have a sad moment. And it's a little blurb from Cy Montgomery in the back, who I don't have in this TBR, but you never know. It says that, let's see. Everyone warned that Homer would always be an underachiever, but the kitten nobody believed in quickly grew into a 3-pound dynamo with a giant heart who eagerly made friends with every human who crossed his path. Homer scaled 7-foot bookcases with ease, survived being trapped alone for days after 9/11 in an apartment near the World Trade Center, so that's like 20 years ago, so wow. And even saved Gwen's life when he chased off an intruder who broke into their home in the middle of the night. But it was Homer's unswerving loyalty, his infinite capacity for love, and his joy in the face of all obstacles that transformed, I feel like crying already, Gwen's life. And by the time she met the man she would marry, she realized that Homer had taught her the most valuable lesson of all. Love isn't something you see with your eyes. Now, why would I pick this now? Well, I've been trying to get to it, but I've always wondered what it's like to live with a cat who has a disability of any kind, including blindness, and I've never known that until just last week. I found out that my older cat, Zenobia, who is 16 years old, has a lot of other good things. Like, she had a blood workup, and a lot of things weren't so bad. But there was something that they think might be not good, so I'm preparing myself. So in the near future, you may see a very upset me at some point, but, we'll see. We'll have to get ready. There's a... This book already says, following the footsteps of Vicky Myron's best-selling Dewey, the Small-Town Library Cat Who Touched the World, which is the book that made me cry more than any other book in the universe. And so I might cry anyway, whether or not, whatever happens to Zenobia. But anyway, I had suspected earlier, but I thought, I'm just being whatever. Besides the fact that Zenobia might have, and probably does have some kind of tumor, she has lost her vision, and not like 100%, but the vet saw some sort of reaction to light or something. But if you wave your hand, unless you touch her like whiskers somehow, she doesn't see it. It's the weirdest thing, because she's always had these big owl eyes, always looking at me. She's still looking at me, but just in my direction. She gets around just fine though. I see her. She's not bumping into things. She stumbles a little bit here and there, and she sometimes goes in circles a little bit, so this is why we're worried about the neurological things. But she's doing pretty well for a cat without sight, but I thought it might be time to just read about what it's like to live with a blind cat. Yeah. Sorry, that sounds a little bit of a downer, but I always keep you guys updated with my with my life a little bit. And you know what? Our reading life is affected by our personal life, so everything works together. But anyway, cheering up a little bit. So this book is partially nature writing. This could work for a lot of these prompts probably, but I don't know how I'm going to actually fit that in. But we'll see. This is Tom Cox's notebook. And last year around Springathon, I was continuing reading. It took me a few months to read it. Tom Cox's last book, which is called Ring the Hill. I think that was his last book, which was also kind of like talking a little bit about his cats dying, but only at the end. Tom Cox did write a number of books that were mainly memoirs of his cats, but never exclusively. But he kind of branched out a little bit. Nature writing. Anyway, he kind of moved to writing these sort of almost basically yearly memoirs of his life, and some of it is just him walking around where he lives. He moves houses very often, just the different parts of England, but they're usually kind of, rural or countryside-ish. And he just explores, takes these long walks, posts on Instagram and other places pictures of like cows and sheep, all kinds of things. And so nature walks basically. But he also talks about the history of the area, both natural and human. And he talks a lot about his family, but his family are also very in tune with nature. Both of his parents are, kind of artists, and they do a lot of nature drawing, as a matter of fact. And so it works. This is his latest book, Notebook. It's actually smaller than I expected it to be. He usually writes bigger books. One of the last books I got from another writer from Britain recently was also smaller than I expected. I don't know what's going on, but hey, sometimes good things come in small packages, and maybe it'll be more succinct. I don't know. Hopefully funny. I will let you know, but there'll definitely be some nature writing in here. I don't know how to fit that in with prompt. Maybe migration, because he moves around so much. Bloom, Decay, I'm sure there'll be evidence of both. Forage, I don't know. Hibernate? I don't know. He has 2 cats right now, and one of them is like quite old, and so they probably mostly hibernate. I don't know. Buzz, Stillness, all these things could work. So, speaking of which, Buzz, I thought I could fit in because there's a bee on forest therapy, and this kind of thing, forest bathing, that sort of thing. I don't know if that's part of this book or not. Yeah, they talk about that here. Is a little bit of a buzz lately. People talk about these things the past couple of years. I don't know. So those are the, I think, 6 books that I hope to read for this particular activity, since it's only 2 weeks long-ish. I don't know if I'll be able to read all of them within that time, but I'll do my best, and I will be back soon with the 1950 TBR, which will also be something I need to scale down a little bit. So if you are participating in Springathon, please let me know. Let me know if you have a video out, and I will watch that as well. I might have already watched it and just, haven't commented on it, but let me know. Or if you don't have a channel and you plan to read any nature writing anytime soon, let me know that too. Let me know if you have a particular nature writing author that you like. Whatever. If you like talking about nature writing, if you like hearing me go on about my cats or tea, etc., please subscribe. So that's all for now. This is Catherine, and Taking Tea with Catherine. Have a lovely tea and nature writing filled day.